Hi, hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Fatina Nabila binti Hassan. My student ID is 2018223114. So today, in this video, I'm going to present about the factor that can influence the unemployment rate in Malaysia. Unemployment. Unemployment means people aged around 16 to 64 years old and willing to find work, and not including the housewife and student, but they're still unable to find work. Besides, the rate of unemployment can be used as an efficient indicator of human resource for economic activity in a country. Based on Keynes, a nation with an unemployment rate of 4% or less suggests that it has achieved the full employment. There is 5 types of unemployment: frictional, structural, classical, seasonal, and also technological. Unemployment can cause 2 problems. First is anxiety. Unemployment can increase the crime cases, depressions, and also suicide due to financial problem. In country, unemployment can cause decrease in the national income due to loss in consumers. Problem statement. COVID-19 is an ongoing global pandemic that caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome. Our Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin implemented the Movement Control Order (MCO). However, the MCO left an impact to the Malaysians, which is increasing in unemployment rate. There is numerous factors that are contributing to the factor that influence the unemployment rate in Malaysia. Based on this research study, we are using the 3 independent variables, which is inflation rate, education level, and also gender. Here is our research objective. First is to figure out that the inflation rate can influence the unemployment rate in Malaysia, and second, to investigate the independent variables such as gender has an impact on the unemployment rate in Malaysia, and third is to investigate the level of education that can influence the unemployment rate in Malaysia. Our research questions are: is there a relationship between the inflation rate and unemployment rate in Malaysia? Second, does gender affect the unemployment rate in Malaysia? And third, what is the relationship between the level of education and unemployment rate in Malaysia? Scope and limitation of the study. This study will focus on the factor that can influence unemployment rate from 1990 until 2019 in Malaysia. The result will then show whether these factors are significant with the unemployment rate, and it will give some information about how this factor can influence Malaysians' unemployment rates. Significance of this study. From this research, it will provide the information about the factor that can influence the unemployment rate in Malaysia. Unemployment rate affects the family's income, purchasing power, and also decrease the economic. However, many factors can influence the unemployment rate, such as advantage in technology, education, training, and also labor union. In this study, we are more to understand the factor that can affect the unemployment rate from 1990 until 2019 in Malaysia. Here is our literature review. Basically, we got 10 articles, based on 10 articles, but here is 3 of them, and let me read one of them. The article written by Muhammad Ahmad Mahadzir and Prof. Dr. Jauhari Dahalan, and here is their independent variables, which are energy usage, foreign direct investment, GDP growth, inflator deflator, and also populations. Conceptual framework. Obviously, our dependent variable is unemployment rate, and our independent variables are inflation rates, gender, and also education level. Gender, which is unemployment percentage of unemployment based on gender female. Here is our hypothesis based on estimation regressions. We got 3. First is there is a significant relationship between the inflation rate and unemployment rate. Second, there is a significant relationship between female gender and the unemployment rate. And third is there is a significant relationship between education level and unemployment rate. And next hypothesis is based on diagnostic tests on Ramsey result test. HO, there is no specification bias. H1 is have a specification bias. Next is based on multicollinearity. The hypothesis is all VIF are less than 10 indicates there's no serious multicollinearity issues. And next, void test. HO is no heteroscedasticity and H1 is have heteroscedasticity. And last but not least, autocorrelations. HO have a serial correlation. Has no serial correlation, and H1 is have serial correlations. Research methodology. Based on this research, the researchers analyze what kind of factor that can influence the Malaysians' unemployment rate with 3 independents. All of this data are known as time series data and covered from 1990 until 2019, which is equivalent to 30 years. The quantitative research method explains a phenomenon by collecting numerical data analyzed using the mathematical-based method. The researchers are using the EViews 11 software to analyze the data and several other tests. Next is sampling. The researchers using 3 independent variables such as inflation rate, sex, and also education level as the sampling data as a subset of certain number from the statistical population to estimate the characteristic of the whole population. Data collection. Data collection method is using the external resource which is the government resources such as World Bank, macro trend, and also the global economy. Plan for data analysis. Here is our estimated regression equations. Next is our OLS estimations. Let me read one by one. Based on constant, when the constant variable is equal to 0, then amount of unemployment rate is equal to 1.613%. And conclusion is reject whole. Inflation rate is significant at 5% of significant level. Next is inflation rate. Whenever the inflation rate increases by 1%, the unemployment rate will decrease to 0.047%. The conclusion is reject whole because inflation rate is significant at 5% significant level. And such, when the number of female is increased by 1%, the unemployment rate increased 0.560%. The conclusion is reject whole. The number of female is significant at a 1% significant level. And last but not least is education level. Whenever the number of education level increased by 1%, the number of unemployment rate will decrease 0.006%. The conclusion is reject whole because the education level is significant at 5% of significant level. The result based on diagnostic test, based on Ramsey result test, since the p-value is higher than significant level, we accept the null hypothesis, which is do not suffer with specification of or functional form. Based on multicollinearity, all VIF are less than 10 indicates there is no serious multicollinearity issues. And based on white test, since the p-value is more than significant level, we accept the null, which is variance is has not having the heteroscedasticity and autocorrelations is since the p-value is higher than significant level, we accept the null, which is the model is not suffering from the autocorrelations. Conclusions. In conclusion, based on all of those research questions, the researchers finally came out with the result that there is a relationship between the unemployment rate and those independent variables. Furthermore, the percentage of female who are unemployed is more affecting the unemployment rate because the coefficient level of the sex is the highest among those 3 independent variables. The relationship between gender is positively significant toward the unemployment rate, but the inflation rate and education level are negatively significant with the unemployment rate in Malaysia. The independent variables is not only left an impact to the unemployment rate year by year, but it is also affecting the society and also economic behavior in Malaysia. So that's all from me. Thank you so much.